Hello and welcome to session 1 of the 128-bit Studios Code with Brad series. So the first episode we did was last week, and we talked about roughly what we were going to be doing. So as you can see on the, well, actually you can't see on the screen because we haven't showed it yet, but if I bring it up now. Okay, so session 0 overview, we've already done that. I decided to do this off stream just to give everyone a little idea about where we're going to go over the next couple of weeks. I'm going to try and do 3 sessions a week. I'm already a little bit under because I had to miss a couple of days because I had some technical issues, but now they're resolved, thankfully. So we're currently on session 1, which is what we're going to be doing today, which is tooling. Now, tooling, if I go back one and we go into tooling setup, if it decides to open. What's going on here? Let's just close that. Try it again. There we go. Okay, so I wrote down some notes for the session, as last time I didn't write down any notes whatsoever and I completely winged it. So I thought it'd be good to be a little bit more prepared today. So these are a list. This is a list of everything we're going to be doing today. So we're going to set up iTerm with Z Shell, and I think they're very important because they just improve your workflow massively. They let you customize things, and it's just much nicer than the standard terminal. Now I am using the new M1 chip on the new Mac Mini, and I'm not 100% sure some of these tools are going to work on it because it's brand new and it's only been out like a month or two. So it'll be interesting to see if we get any hiccups with that. We're also going to have a look at setting up our GitHub keys. I do have a GitHub account, but I haven't set anything up on this specific server. So we're going to install all our keys, like our private key, and I'm going to link it to GitHub, and then we're going to see if we can clone down a repo just to test it. We're going to install Brew. So Brew is Mac only, so if you're on Windows, that's going to be a little bit boring for you. But Brew basically just makes things a hell of a lot easier to install on a Mac. You just do Brew install whatever, and it just does it off the bat, so it's quite nice. We're going to install Docker because we're going to need that in the future once we start doing some code. We're going to install Xcode and Android Studio because we're also going to need those for the app side of things. So Docker's more of like the infrastructure, and then Xcode and Android Studio is more of like the IDEs we need to actually build the app. So we're not actually going to do any coding in those unless we have to, because there are some cases where you do have to code in those native tools, but mostly we're going to be using Visual Studio Code, VSC, which you can see on the right. I like to use it because it's free. I used to be a big JetBrains fan. I still do use JetBrains occasionally, but I've got nothing against it. It's just that Visual Studio is just a little bit lighter and it just seems to run a bit more smoother. But I am actually looking into using JetBrains again because in my day-to-day job I've been using Rider for C#, so I might go back into JetBrains, but for the purposes of this show or this series we're going to be using Visual Studio Code because it's widely accessible to everyone, whether you're on a Linux, a Mac or Windows PC. Oh yeah, the other thing I should probably mention actually is Xcode. If you are following on a Mac, on a Windows computer, you're not going to be able to do Xcode either. So you're literally just going to be able to do the Android Studio side. It sucks, but Apple is Apple, and there's nothing we can do about that. So we're also going to set up our node using Brew, and we're going to set up npm on top of that globally. And we're also going to use something called NVM, and I don't know how many of you viewers I've heard of NVM, but NVM allows you to switch node versions really easily. So you can do NVM install 6, NVM install 7, and then once you've installed them all, or any ones that you need at the time, you can then go back. So you can do NVM use 6 or NVM use 7, and it's just a way of redirecting all your aliases and your paths on your terminal to direct at different NVM versions. So it's a really nice switcher in case, there might be some cases where we need to use NVM node 9 or node 10 or node 11 in different circumstances. Obviously we should always be using the most up-to-date version, but I have had situations before where in a microservice architecture I'm doing something which requires Node 7 and they don't want to upgrade for some reason, so maybe like there's no plugin support for anything above 7, so they have to use the older version, which kind of sucks, but it does happen, you know, it's real world, you have to be pragmatic. So we're also going to be looking at installing or setting up even Azure DevOps. I actually already have an account and I don't want to set up a new one because I've got everything linked to it and I've got my credit card information set up on it. I think you can do some free stuff with it, but I can't guarantee that. And we're also going to set up Hockey app. We don't have to at the minute, it's quite early days, but we're just going to set it up anyway just so it's there. So yeah, that's the overview of the session 1 that we're going to do today. So I guess we can jump right into it. I'm going to keep this open. And I'm just gonna sort it out on my desk, so I've got it open, and we're just gonna leave it there so we can come back and we can tick stuff off as we do it. So, let's do some stuff. I'm fed up of talking. I need to actually do some work. So I do have a new keyboard, so I apologise if I type a lot of things wrong because the keys are slightly different. I think they're slightly smaller and closer together, so it's sometimes I miss keys and stuff, so apologies for that one. Okay, so the first one we have is iTerm. So we open up Safari. Something else I just remembered, we may need to install Chrome as well. Oh, where did that go? Ah, there we go. I think I already had it open. Okay, iTerm 2. I already got it, so I've already searched it. So iTerm 2 is really, really cool. It's a terminal emulator for Mac, and it just allows you to do so much more customization. Like you can have it so it appears over the right side of the screen, and you can like have it transparent in the background so that you can see stuff behind it, and then you can hide it with like shortcuts. It's just got so much stuff on it. It is donationware, you don't have to donate though. So let's just install this. I am listening to some music as well because I don't like doing this stuff in silence. So I am sorry if you can hear it and it annoys you. God. So there is a downside to using a server over RDP. The downside is you have to I don't know if you can see it, but there's like a little dot on the screen. That's basically like a remote dot, and I can't figure out how to turn it into a cursor, which is really annoying. So let's go downloads and item. That's a lot nicer, isn't it? There we go, that was really quick. So before on the old Mac you'd have like this really horrible kind of you have it open and you have to go into security and you have to open anyway, because it won't let you open things that aren't off the App Store, which is kind of annoying. But on this, it just opened automatically and it came up with a nice little new dialogue. I do kind of like this OS actually, it's quite nice. Mac OS Big Sur, very nice. So we've installed iTerm 2. So if I go back to, I like to tick things off as we go, just so we can keep track. It's nice to do things as we go. So let's get my pen, there we go, and let's tick off that. Okay, so we have iTerm 2 now. Sorry, that's me mispressing keys. So what sort of stuff can we do in iTerm 2? So up here you can see preferences. A really nice thing we can do is we can make the appearance different. So we can do things like hiding the scroll bars, changing the transparency. We can have tabs. So that's the other thing. So if we open up Terminal, actually that's a good idea. Actually, let's open up Terminal. We can compare them side by side. Oh, terminally ill. No, that's not what I wanted to open up. God, everything's just. It's because I've got a new keyboard and I'm running this through a server. It's just so sort of all over the place. So these are our two terminals. On the right we have the native Mac terminal, and on the left we have iTerm 2. Now there's not a lot of difference. The only difference is if we go to the native terminal, you know, we can't really do a lot. Like, we can change the profile. We can add Windows groups. We can change like encodings for like different country text, like Russian and Japanese and Chinese and all that. But it's not really a lot you can do with it, to be honest. And for some people, that might be okay. That didn't even work. It might be because I need to open up a new window. Right. Let's try that again. Oh, okay, so you have to double click it. That is lame, to say the least. Yeah, I don't like this at all. It doesn't even save your settings. Like, it gives you like a profile. I'm assuming you can like change the basic profile and it automatically opens up that, or you can set one of these as your default. So if I go to default and then open up a new terminal, it comes up with that theme. But it's just really clunky, and it's just not. It doesn't give you much much configuration options, which is really irritating. Sorry, I'm just checking chat. Got one chat. Oh, it's a spammer. That's nice, isn't it? So I'm multi-streaming today. I'm streaming to Twitch, I'm streaming to YouTube, and I'm streaming to Facebook. So it's we're scaling up in the world. No pun intended. So item 2. Profiles. So we can have different profiles. You can change the appearance, windows, tabs, panes. Something nice you can do in this, you can't do in the native terminals. You can have loads of different tabs. So we've got all these tabs here, and then we can like drag one and you can move it down. So now we have 2 tabs, and then you can drag another one and you can move it down into the quarter. So what I normally do is, if I go to preferences, I think there's a way of like docking it on the side. Let's see if we can find it. General arrangements, no. Sorry, I'm just reading these options. I'm trying to hook it to the right hand side. It's been a long time since I set this up from scratch. Okay, well never mind. Maybe we'll find it later. So we've got our terminal set up now. What's the next thing we need to do? Okay, so we need to set up Z shell. So if I come back to here and type in ZSH, ZSH is short for Z shell. So it's called Oh My ZSH. And let's install that. Okay, so yeah, so you can't actually install this via brew. I don't believe you can anyway. So we have to install it using like a wget kind of thing, command. So if I go to downloads, CD downloads, and let's install this. So quite thankfully we can just do that. The git command requires the command line developer tools. Oh, okay, so we're gonna have to install developer tools. There we go. That's cool. Git should normally come natively. Actually, no, it doesn't. No, Git doesn't come natively with Unix systems, so you have to install it manually. But because it's a Mac, normally they like put in loads of basic stuff for you. But it looks like you have to download a toolkit or something for the new operating system. I'm guessing not everybody needs it. Like if you were a designer, you wouldn't need it. I'm drinking Rain body fuel. It's kind of like, I don't know if anyone knows Thor Bjornsson from Iceland. He played the Mountain in Game of Thrones. He sponsors this, and it's a really nice drink. It's got caffeine in it, and vitamin B's, amino acids. It's zero sugar, but it says no artificial colour or flavour. It doesn't say no artificial sugar though, so it probably has got a lot of fake sugar in here. But it's good. It tastes good. It's better than Red Bulls, and it tastes nicer than Red Bull sugar-free. I wouldn't be a real developer if I wasn't drinking an energy drink on stream, right? So while this is downloading, just want to have a little chat about. Let's put this down here so we can watch it. So, for the overview of the upcoming 2 weeks, I wanted to split it up between practical and theory, almost. So today we're going to be doing the tooling, and then tomorrow I'm going to do session 2, which is when we're going to set up the project. So we're going to like download all the tools we need, set up the folder structure, just get some stuff into Git, and just basically set up like a skeleton for our project. And then session 3, which will be technically the 4th video because we started on session 0. I don't know why I did that, but you know, there we go. So session 3 on week 2, hopefully on the 19th of December, we're going to do some planning and design. And then on session 4, we do CI and deployment. So whatever we've got on our bare bones, we'll then deploy it. So I've kind of gone like a kind of leapfrog approach. So we've got theory mixed up with practical. So nobody gets too bored. Sorry, I thought I heard a dog screaming outside. I think that might have just been me though. Ooh, Git clone failed. Should we try that again? Oh, because we downloaded the tools, didn't we? And they're still downloading. You can always tell this is a live stream because, you know, something always happens. There's a dog outside squealing. That's a little bit annoying, to be honest. But we've also got some big things happening for the stream as well. We've got I've got a big green screen coming, so it should make the video quality a little bit easier because I don't actually want this red and black foam thing. I had this here for my game streaming days where I needed to deflect the sound, so that's actually going to stay there, but I'm going to put a green screen in front of it, and then that'll allow me to have just my head on the video, so you don't get I can have more screen space on the stream to show you guys what's going on rather than just having a big block. So that's coming hopefully tomorrow, so we'll see how that goes. I also got a ring light today, so should make the lighting a little bit better on the video. They always do this, don't they? They these loading bars, it goes really quickly until it gets to about 5 seconds or so, and then that 5 seconds actually takes like 10 minutes. It's been on 2 seconds for like 20 seconds. I guess we could do some other things while we're waiting for this actually. You know, it's all about multitasking and all that jazz. So we also need to set up GitHub keys. So while we're waiting for that, let's go and do some GitHub stuff. So if you don't have an account with GitHub, go and make one. Oh look, just as we opened that up, the software is installed. So we'll come back to this in a second. So if you haven't got a GitHub account, be very surprised if you didn't by now. But yeah, just go and sign up for that and make an account. Right, so I've actually got 2FA on my phone, so which should always enable 2FA. Always enable 2FA. I'm not sure whether I need to hide this or not because could you work out my auth code from this? I don't think you could actually. Actually, no, just to be safe, let's move this down here. 196078. So I hid it and then I spoke it out. Never mind. So let's go to my. Oh. Okay, so this is my company account, and let's set up our new key. So on GitHub, when you log in, if you click your profile on the top right, click settings, it will take you to this page. And on the left hand side, you see SSH and CPG keys. Now, I know what CPG is, but I can't remember off the top of my head what it stands for. And it's essentially I think it's similar to PGP. So if anyone's heard of PGP encryption, it's very similar to that, but we won't go into that for now. So let's create a new SSH key, and let's call this. So I've called my Mac Mini Proxima. Go and Google it if you don't know what Proxima is. It's the nearest star system to us, or one of the nearest stars even. What's the cool name? I name all of my servers after space and stuff. So it's quite fun actually, because my Synology server, my media server, is called Corona. But I called it Corona like 2 years ago, and then coronavirus came out. So when everyone sees it, they're like, "Huh, you named it after coronavirus?" Like, no, I didn't. I named it after corona mass ejection from the sun. Nothing to do with coronavirus. Oh, God. That's my keyboard. Okay, so we're just going to clear that for now, and we'll come back to the Z shell stuff. So what we need to do is we need to generate a private key, then we need to put it into here. Generate a public-private key pair locally, and then we need to then upload the public key to this. I'm pretty sure it's the public key. There is a way of doing this. I'm gonna be really clever here, and I'm gonna try it off the top of my head. I think it's keygen SSH or SSH keygen. Ah, there we go. Oh, but we need to do it a certain way. Damn it. GitHub asks for it in a certain way. GitHub generate key pair. Yeah, there we go. So we do actually need to do it a certain way. We need to have the right amount of what is -t? I've forgotten what -t is. SSH keygen. -t is. Can't see it. Where the hell is -t? Anyway, I think it's the algorithm type. Okay, so we need to copy this. So I just searched GitHub for SSH key pair. That's all I did. So if you copy this, you copy that from step 2, come down here, and then we change it to our email address. So let's change it to my email address. Brad@128bits.co.uk, and then we're going to save it to. We're not going to save it to that file. Let's just save it to that file. And then enter a passphrase. Anything you want. Okay. So now, if you go to your home directory, you can go to it by putting in a little squiggly line. So squiggly line /.sh, and then we should have 2 files generated there. Now we need to copy the public key, which is that one, and then we need to put that into here. So there's a really nice way of doing this. You can use a command called pbcopy. So there's a command you can use called cat, which basically outputs the text of a file. So if you put in cat underscore idpub, see that's the that's actually the wrong one. I need to put in the other one, the public one, because it should be longer than that. God damn it. Okay, we're going to regenerate this, because I didn't want to show that on the screen. Because otherwise everybody will be able to get into my GitHub account and do shit. Do stuff. Whoops. So I'm going to remove that. Okay, let's try that again. Let's create our pair. Oh. Okay. I'm just wondering if I should actually set up. Actually, I'm going to set up a brand new GitHub account. Yeah, I think I'm going to set up a brand new GitHub account. Just because I want it separate on this Mac. I don't want any. Pick the Spiral Galaxy. That's a new one. Never seen that one before. Okay, so we've got a verification email that I'm going to open on another screen. I'm just going on another screen because I want to keep. This is a really annoying thing about doing this kind of thing. It's like I don't want. Obviously, I need to show people how to do stuff, but I don't want them to like hack into my stuff, basically. Or not hack, more like I've just given you the password, so you just type in the password and get in. So I don't want to do that. Okay, so now I have a profile, a completely blank profile called BB8128B demo, which is Brad Bird, 128 bits, so all bit studios. So we need to go and go to the SSH key part. New SSH key, and we're going to call it Proxima Mac Mini. And then we're going to copy, so we're going to do, so what I was saying was earlier, so we've got two commands. You've got cat, which outputs the text of something. Wrong one. So we've got cat that outputs the text, but then what we can do is we can do cat, and then the file name, and then if you do a little pipe icon, it's like there's a line going down, and then do pb copy, that will actually copy it to your clipboard. Now it's a really, when you're typing like really quickly and doing loads of stuff, it's much easier than like just catting it out and then dragging it all the way across and then doing Command C or Control C and then pasting it into here. You can literally just copy it to your keyboard directly using pb copy. So if I do like, I don't know, cat, or 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, and then do pb copy. No, actually I want to do echo pb copy. Right, and then I come here. See, it just copies it automatically, which is really nice. It's a really nice feature. Okay, so we've made our SSH key. I'm actually going to regenerate that again though. I know, because I outputted the thing again. The private key. I don't want to do that. I do not want to output a key. Overwrite, yes. Passphrase. And I've used a different passphrase, so maybe you can decrypt my password. Okay, there we go. There we go. SSH key. Okay, so now we should be able to make a private repo, so we'll go ahead and do that now. Where is it? The plus icon repository. So we're going to call this Just Drones TV app, or system. Just Drones TV system. I'm going to make it private. And we're not going to add anything. So it's completely blank repo. Now, because this is private, and I now have an SSH key that's linked to this account that has this repo, only I should be able to download it. So now if we go into our home directory, and then we go to projects, which we made in the first episode last week. We have drone app, but we're going to actually remove that because I don't want to call it that. That was just an example. Alright, so we remove the drone app, and now we don't have it. So if you go back to the repository, we can copy this, and then we can do git clone, paste that. Now, if you just press enter now, it will use jdtv-system as the folder name, but I don't mind doing that actually, I'm going to do that. But if you press space and you type in like XYZ, it will name your folder XYZ, but then still keep all the relevant git files inside that. So we're just going to clone it and make sure our key is working okay. So it's not working okay because we're having to put in our username. So we need to work out how to use the file as like the password. So we need, so on a Mac there's something called SSH agent. Now what that does, on Windows it will be called Putty, I think it's called, and it'll allow you to store your SSH keys on the computer that you're on. So when it tries to go and get something from SSH, it will use one of those key pairs as the password almost, as like the key to get the stuff. So if we just do this, what it's saying on the thing. So we do have an agent for that. We've just started it, and we need to. Okay, it's telling us to add this to our agent. So I guess we just do that. Now it's telling us to touch it, and touch is basically create file. It might be different on Windows. So if we go back to our SSH folder. Press the wrong bloody key. SSH. Okay, so we need to make a config folder. CD into our config folder, and then we need to create our. Oh, sorry, no, config isn't a folder; it's a file. Just come out of that, remove it. It's because it didn't have an extension, so I thought it was a folder. So we're just going to make that, and then it's telling us to open it, but you can use Vim. It's just like a terminal text editor. You can open it in Notepad or text edit if you wanted to. Text edit is horrible though because it makes formatting. If you were going to do something like this, I would use Visual Studio Code, which we don't have yet, or something like Sublime Text. But you know, Vim is fine for this kind of thing, and it should already be there. Yep, it is. So when you're in Vim, do Vim, then file name, then press the A on the keyboard, and then we can paste stuff. Oh dear. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. What have I done? It's just keyboard. I'm not used to it at all. Okay, right. So once you pasted, press escape, then you should be able to have, and then you've got access to the colon button. And then you can do colon Q. Okay. Colon Q. Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark will override. It'll force the command to happen. So let's just make sure that we have something in there. We have nothing in there. Why is this not letting me save it? There we go. Right, let's try cat again. Oh, no. There we go. Okay, we've got it in there. So that should be all we need to do. Oh no, we need to add. Okay, right. So we've made the SSH key. We set up the config to basically add it to agent, but we haven't restarted it yet. So when you restart your Mac, this will work. But for now, obviously, we need to add it manually because I'm not going to restart. So come out. Yep. Enter passphrase. There we go. So now if we go back to our project directory, JDTV, oh no. Okay, and then we go back to the command that we were going to type earlier, which is, oh, okay, so, oh god. Okay, so I had HTTPS earlier, but you need to click SSH. because we're using SSH keys, we're not using HTTPS. I have a feeling that HTTPS might get deprecated at some point, just because it's unsafe. The only time it's really used is like if you SSH into like an FTP server and you just want to literally download something with your basic auth. But I don't think that's going to be around much longer, to be honest. It's a massive security risk. So if you git clone, there we go. And now, because it's the first time, it's asking us if we want to check the RSA fingerprint. We do, because we know that it's legit. There we go, JDTV system. There we go. We've got our Git repository down, and that's it. Pretty much, so we can test it just to make sure it's all working. So let's create a readme file. If you can see this, then you are God with a capital G. Now I've got like a running tradition with all of my Git repositories. I like to call every single first commit the first one, and it might sound like I'm just writing the first one, but it has got a hidden meaning to me. So I don't know if anyone watches Stargate, but there's an episode where they find the first Goa'uld from Stargate, and it's called the first one, and it's not a human, because in Stargate the Goa'ulds have a symbiotic relationship with humans, but in the first one they actually have a symbiotic relationship with an alien. I can't remember the name of the alien, but he's called the first one, and he's locked inside this cave and he can't get out, and it's a reference to that. And every single repository I've ever made, the brand new, I've made the first commit as the first one. There's a running condition, it's a running condition for me. I appreciate a lot of people don't know how to use Git on the terminal. You can download an application for it, but I don't like the application because you can't do everything that you can do on a terminal. Terminal is raw, it's unfiltered, it just works straight exactly the way you want it to, and I prefer that. I don't like applications for this kind of stuff. It's just not good. So what we're doing is we've typed in git status to get our position in the staging process. So it will let us know if we have anything that's unstaged. So this is red, which means it's unstaged. But by doing git add full stop, we've added everything from this directory recursively onwards into the staging area. So if we do git status again, you can see it's now green, and you can see changes to be committed. So now we have everything staged. Now I'm not going to go into it too much, but it's really cool because say like I added like a file that was a mistake. So now I've got 2 files in there. When I go git status, it's recognised that there's another file in here. Now it's really good to add things manually when you're doing commits, so that everything that like say you do like a load of work in like a morning and you want to do it in separate commits so people can see the history of what you've done, or like you're kind of grouping each bit of work that you've done. We can do git add, and then we can just add one file or one directory, or we can even use regex, so we can do star.md and it will go through recursively all the files that end with .md. So if we do git add star.md, go status, you can see that we've now added the readme file. So I'm just going to remove this other random file that I didn't actually want in there. There we go. So git status, you'll be right, if you ever use the terminal on GitHub, you'll be using git status like all the time. These are like the most used Git commands: git status, git add, git commit, git push. So then we call it the first one. You can add multiple messages, like so I could do git m again and type something else, but I won't make it the title of the commit. It will make it, you get like a title and a description. It will put the second one onwards in the description. So it's quite nice to have, but you know, you don't really need it, especially when you're working on your own or if you're just doing like really small commits. Okay, so another thing, so I don't know if you can read it here, but it's basically telling us that we don't have our username or email set up. So if we go to this command here, you can actually just comment out those two lines. And we can do Brad plus demo at 128 bits, okay. Now I know some people might be asking what this plus is. It's not actually, so Google have this really cool feature where I can have one email address, brad at 128 bits.co.uk, and then I can have a plus and then anything else. So, and it acts as an alias, so it will still go to brad at 128 bits.co.uk, but it will allow me to sign up, like, so I could sign up to GitHub like 10 times with the same email address essentially, by putting a plus there. Okay. So now if I do, so I need to do this as well because I committed the file underneath an anonymous user in Git, and I've just edited the global config for my name and my user, but that commit doesn't have the new settings. So if you copy this and add that, it will then modify the commit. So if I do git log, you see it says Brad and it's got all my information there now. Git log is another command that you'll use a lot as well. Okay, so I've just pushed that to master. There we go. Now another thing we need to do, without going too much into Git branching and PRs and all that stuff, I want to do that in a separate video because I don't think we've got enough time. We've actually been here like 35 minutes now. All we've done is install the iTerm 2 and set up GitHub, and that's it. So it does take quite a lot of stuff to do this. The first thing we are going to do is we're actually going to create a new branch. So we do git checkout -b, which means create new one, and we're going to create a develop branch. We're going to try and push that. Now, if you notice here, it says the current branch has no upstream branch. To push the current branch to set the remote upstream, use this command. Now, very base, without going too much into it. So an upstream branch is a remote branch, and it's the branch that you want to connect. So you have local branches that aren't staged or committed, and then you have remote branches. You can actually call your local branch anything you want as long as it points to a remote branch that exists. But the remote branch for develop doesn't exist, and we want to create it. So we'll have it locally, now we need to mirror it to the remote. So by typing in this command, we can push our local branch to the remote branch. So now if I come back here and I refresh the page, there should be another branch here. So we've got master and develop. You see here it says master's default. Now I like making develop default because master I like to use for things like hotfixes, and then that should always, well, it's kind of like a touchy subject, but it's not a touchy subject, but it's controversial. Like, loads of people like different branching strategies. I like to have develop as the main one, which I plug everything into, and then when I do a release, I'll cut a release and then I'll make that master. So master's always the current code base that I want live. So I think I'm going to do that now. So if you go settings on GitHub while you're in the repository, and you go to branches, you can set your default branch here. So we're just going to set that to develop. Yep. Okay, so now if we go back to code and we look here, you see develop's now default. So it's just nice just to have a separate branch for all your code away from your production branches, because if you come here to releases, what we can do is, like, when we've done like a load of stuff, we can like create a release and tag a version on it with a title and all of the change log that we've changed, and then you can like target master, and then if we then, we can change it to so we can change it to master, and then we can like cut it, and then if we need to do any hot fixes, actually no, that's wrong. So yeah, so we have everything developed, then we can cut a release, so we can do like 0.01. And then what we do is that we then merge develop into master, and then if we need to do any hot fixes, we then put everything into master, and then we then merge master into develop, and then we can cut another release. So like master should always be like where production is, always. Okay. So we're currently in develop and we have our first commit. So there we go. let's go back to Z Shell now and try and get this set up. So I'm just going to come out of our projects folder and I'm going to go into downloads because I don't want this downloaded file going into anywhere other than downloads. Okay, I guess so. You can see what's in downloads. So on the ZSH, on the OhmyZSH website, ohmyz.sh, there's a command. And then we can literally just copy that into our terminal, and that will just download it as if we're downloading it for a browser, but it's doing it over curl. And if you see here, the colours have already changed, so downloads already looks a lot better. So if we clear this, look how nice that looks. That's awesome, right? And all we did was just run this command. That's literally all we did. We just downloaded a SH file and then ran it, and now it's just made all of the colours great. Now I don't know if it has it, but if we go into our project, sorry, there's a delay on it. I need to fix this for the next stream because there's like a really annoying delay between me typing. What I might do is I might share the mini to this screen, and then yeah, we'll figure it out. So let's go into JDTV. Ah yes, cool, right. So the plugin adds this kind of stuff. So it lets us know that we're in a Git folder, and it also lets us know what branch we're on. So if we go check out master, it tells us that we switched, now it says master on it. So it's really nice for things like that. You can also, I'm not going to do it, but you can change like the theme. They have loads of themes on here as well. Find your theme. There we go. So you can change all the layout of the text and stuff like that. I have done this on my working laptop, but I'm not going to do it for the Mac Mini just because it takes so much time and there's no point really. It's just like aesthetic reasons. So let's go back to our iPad and let's have a look at what we've got left to do. Okay, so we've done item 2, we've installed Z Shell, we've done our Git keys, and that's it. Oh my god, we've got so much more to do. Okay, that's fine though. It does take time to do this stuff. That's the thing, especially when you're starting from scratch. Once you've done this, you'll never have to do it again. So I think we're going to do something more fun and quicker. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to download Docker. Let's do Docker. Actually, no. Let's do brew and node and get all the command line tools out of the way. Yeah, shall we? So let's minimize this, and let's go to our terminal. Okay. So we're going to install. Actually, we need to go to our Safari browser, and we need to search for brew Mac. So you can go to brew.sh. That's the domain for it. They've got a little copy button here. Now, as I said earlier, it's basically a package manager for Mac OS. Now, in Linux, if you're from Linux, you can use something called apt-get, which is very, very similar, but this is specifically for Mac, and it does do things a little bit better than APT, to be honest. Oh, damn. I'm downloading that to my bloody project folder. I don't want to do that. Let's go to downloads. Huh, it's not actually downloading it. I think it's just literally running it. Never mind. Well, we'll keep it out of here anyway. So what's it saying? Okay, so we need a password. Put in your password. Homebrew is not yet supported on ARM processors. We've got our first problem with M2. Oh dear. Rerun the Homebrew installer under Rosetta 2. If you really know what you're doing and prepared for a very broken experience, you can use another installation option for installing on ARM. Oh my god. So Brew, the #1 package manager for Mac OS X for developers, does not work on M2. Unless we use Rosetta. And now I haven't looked massively into this, but Rosetta, I think it allows you to run older apps in like an emulator. Huh, okay, I don't actually know what to do here because I've never done this before. So, exploratory surgery with Brad, let's go. Rosetta 2 Mac. Rosetta 2 enables a Mac with Apple Silicon to use apps built for the Mac with an Intel processor. If you have a Mac with Apple Silicon, you then must install Rosetta in order to open an app. Okay. Cool. But how do we like actually install it? I have no idea. Huh. Okay, Rosetta install via terminal. Here we go. Okay, so not going to bother reading any of this. I'm just going to put this command into here and hope for the best. So we've installed it, apparently. So I guess we try and rerun what we just ran. Okay, let's go and have a read of this. So with Apple now officially selling Apple Silicon Macs, there's a design decision with Apple's made with Mac OS X Big Sur that may affect your various Mac environments. At this time, Mac OS Big Sur does not install Rosetta 2 default on Apple Silicon Macs. Okay, so that's great. But then how do we actually run stuff through Rosetta? I really have no idea what I'm doing here. I'm going to be perfectly honest. But you know, you're not really a developer unless you have a WTF at least once. How to run brew through Rosetta 2. Here we go. Homebrew brew. I should have just come here first, shouldn't I? GitHub issues. So we've got how do I run the Homebrew installer under Rosetta 2? Ran brew update. Okay, we got that far. Okay, so we're stuck on this. But we've already installed Rosetta 2. So there's a PR in progress to explain exactly what more in detail from the PR referring to install formula. To use it, you can choose between running your terminal from Rosetta 2, running Arch Brew instead of Brew. Okay. To install Homebrew itself, you can run Arch blah 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 instead of blah blah blah. To configure a terminal to run under Rosetta 2, select Terminal App in Finder, hit I, open with Rosetta, then restart your terminal. Okay, should we give that a go? So what it's saying is I need to go to my terminal app that I've installed. So it should be in here. So I'm just going to change this layout because I hate this layout. Oh, we need to order it by name. So iTerm. Get info. What does it say here? Oh, okay, hit Command I. Select Terminal App in Finder. Okay, right, so we need to select the terminal app, hit Command I. Okay, that's what we just had open. Select Open with Rosetta. Open with Rosetta. Then restart your terminal. Okay. Okay, looks okay, I guess. Let's see if we can run the oh god, it's not there. It's not in my history. So let's try and run this again. Hope for the best, shall we? Ah, there we go. That's what we want. Okay, so for anybody watching, what we just did, so with the new M2 chips, it's an ARM processor, basically what you get in any Android device. I'm not sure if iOS has the same processor. Probably does. Yeah, it probably does. But don't quote me on that. So with this new ARM processor, Brew does not run on that processor type. They haven't supported that yet. So, but what you can do is you can install a bit of software that comes with the Mac to install Rosetta 2. Now, the way to install that is if we go to install Rosetta 2 via command line. And there's a cool article here. It's a pretty rubbish website, but there is a command here. Basically, you're running the software update bin file, and you do install Rosetta and agree to license, and you put that into your terminal. Then what you do is you open up the terminal you want to use in Finder. In our case, we're using iTurn2, and then you right-click it, go to Get Info, and then there's an option here, so open using Rosetta 2. Now click that. Close it, close all your terminals, then when you reopen it again it will run under the Rosetta emulator, and then you can run anything you want in terminal under Rosetta completely seamlessly. It's very similar to the way that Microsoft uses Ubuntu Bash. Now the Ubuntu Linux subsystem is installed on Windows, or you can install it at least, and it'll allow you to run Linux based commands on a Windows using the subsystem shell, which is quite nice. This is taking forever, but oh, you might see me do this a lot, and it's because I've got a really bad back, and sometimes doing that it actually relieves tension in my upper back. That's what a life of IT work does to you. I hope you like my Santa hat as well, by the way. I went all out for this. I spent £2. Okay, so we've just installed Brew. Let's just check it's installed correctly. There we go, Brew now is installed. So we can check something else off of our list. So, Brew Mac, tick. What's next? NPM and NVM and Node. Awesome, more terminal stuff. That wasn't sarcasm, by the way, I love terminal stuff. So, we're just going to take a shot in the dark here and do brew install NVM. And hopefully it installs NVM. Most things are on brew, which is really nice. If you don't know if something is actually in brew, but you want to double check, if you go to the brew website, there is a repository, homebrew packages. Browse all of the packages, and there's a massive list here on formulae.brew.sh. That's the URL for it. Okay, so NVM has been installed. So if you type in NVM, okay. Maybe we should have a read of this. Please note, Upstream has asked us to make explicit managing NVM by Homebrew is unsupported by them, and you should check any problems. You should create NVM's working directory if it doesn't exist. Okay, so let's check if it's there. It probably isn't because it's a brand new system. Yes, we haven't got anything there. So let's create .nvm. Add the following to ZSSH desired shell. Okay, so we also need to add this to Aussie shell. Oh, what's happened there? Okay, so what we're doing here is we're essentially telling our terminal that there's a bunch of commands in this file that's provided by this command here. So it will allow us to use NVM within our terminal without having to reference the user local opt nvm /nvm.sh file every single time, because you can just do this. If I copy this and I paste it into here, okay, it's this one. Permission denied. Huh. Command not found. Huh. Try that again, put help at the end. Nope. Okay, well anyway, basically what it will let you do is there'll be like loads of commands in the bin file, and it will just let you run those commands, or the sh file even. So we're just going to copy this, and then it's telling us to go into our .zsh file, which is like where all of our stuff goes, all of our ZSH stuff. ZSHRC. And then we're going to go just down to the bottom by hitting page down on the keyboard. Oh crap. Oh my god. This goddamn keyboard. Okay, so I accidentally overwrote my clipboard. Oh, is that in there? Oh man, what's going on with my terminal? Yeah, it's not there. Right, let's, oh for God's sake, let's try installing it again. It might give us some clues. It might give us that text again. Oh god, my back, man. Already installed and up to date. Yeah, cool, but it doesn't work. Okay. Let's go up here and try and find that bit of text that we need to copy and paste. So I'm just having to read this, I'm a bit confused because it's telling me to add all of this, but I don't actually want all of this. This is on the ZSH config. I'm trying to find the text where, with the MVM code in. Right, let's go to Safari. Actually, we search this actually. Okay, MVM. Okay. There we go, that's the text I want. So I just need to put this into my config file. Just put a comment here saying MVM stuff. Okay, now there's a really nice way of like reloading this without having to reload your terminal. You type in source and then ZSHRC. It will actually just reload that file. So now we do MVM. There we go, we've got everything. So I don't know if you remember what I said earlier, but MVM essentially allows us to install multiple node versions on a system and switch between them. So if I do MVM install 10, it might take a while, so I'm just going to drink some water and watch the screen. So all we're doing is essentially just installing node 10, and then we'll install node 11 and node 12. I think 12 is the latest. I don't think 13 is out yet. Now it will switch your node to the one that you've just installed. So because I've installed all 3, but I've installed 12 last, it will change it to 12. So the latest version is 12.20.0. And it's already installed npm for us, so that's cool. We don't need to do that. It installed the latest version of npm. So if we go to nvm help and do nvm use 10. It will switch to 10. And a good way of proving this is if we do node which node. See, it says here v10. Now in this folder called .mvm, it will create loads of different node versions. So if I actually go into here and I do a list for all the folders, you see we've got all our different node versions here. Now all it's doing literally is there's one file that points to one of these folders, and every time you do nvm use a number, it will just change that line to the other version. Simple. It's so simple. We want to use 12 because we want to use the latest of everything. So nvm use 12. Which node? So you can do which on any command, which is quite cool. So we can do like which brew, and it will show us the path of where it's installed. Very handy command. So let's go back to our project directory, into our JDTV, and let's move on to the next thing. So we can tick off these now. I think the next thing we should install is Docker. So let's do some nice easy stuff. So open up a new tab. Go to Docker. You might notice I've got like 6 tabs open right now. You're not a developer. You're not a developer unless you have 50 tabs open at once. I'm sorry, but you're just not a developer if you don't have 50 open. Okay. Ooh, new Docker support for M1. Look at that. Get the latest on Docker support for Apple's latest generation of processor. Does that mean that we cannot install Docker on an M1 chip? Well, let's find out, shall we? Products, Docker desktop, download for Mac. I hate Chrome. I really do. God, 500 meg. I haven't got that much disk space on this Mac. Got technically I should have 256 gigabyte, but obviously we all know that that's never true because you have a parity section on the hard drive, which basically tells you if your data's corrupt. Okay, that's downloaded. Be very interesting to see if this works actually. I'll be very interested. That's crazy, isn't it? So this I've just dragged this over to applications to install it. Oh crap! I just deleted Chrome. Oh, I really hate Chrome, Safari. Actually, we're just going to install Chrome. Actually, no, I'm going to install Brave. Brave's much better. Brave. If those of you don't know, Brave is essentially it's like a privacy-focused Google Chrome. So it has all the cool stuff of Google Chrome without all the tracking. Again, this is an optional extra, you don't have to download this. You can use Safari if you want. It's going to make your development 100 times slower, but you know, it's up to you. So I'm getting a headset soon, because I understand I'm playing music to you. Huh. Two seconds. Sorry, I just had to check something because I'm basically playing. I'm playing music, but it's coming through my mic and my stereo mix, and I didn't realise I was making sure that you could actually hear me because I've been talking for an hour and a half, and I'll be really annoyed if nobody could hear me. Okay, so we just installed the Brave browser, so let's just get rid of Safari in general. I'm never going to open that again up in my entire life unless I'm testing for Safari stuff. So now we've got Brave open there. Here we go. Brave is awesome. So we dragged this over to applications. I'm very surprised. That was a 500 meg file, and it was compressed from a 1.4 gig file, which is absolutely awesome, to be honest. So let's open Docker. Please work. Oh, that's Brave. Damn it! Incompatible CPU. We're sorry, but your hardware is incompatible with Docker Desktop. The version of Docker Desktop requires an Intel processor. Okay, now this is going to be the trick, right? Because we now know that we can run stuff in Rosetta. Oh, we can't run it in Rosetta. Right, this is going to be an issue. Docker for M1. If we can't install this, it's going to be a massive pain in the bum. Oh man. Try the tech preview. So there is a preview for it, apparently. How we got to a technical preview. When Ben announced that we were working on adapting Docker Desktop for this new hardware, we had roughly 3 engineering challenges to tackle. Blah 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 blah. Try the M1 preview today. Here we go. This is what we want. It may break, and it hasn't been tested. So we don't actually need Docker to run stuff locally. It would be nice to have it, and eventually we're going to have to deploy to Kubernetes at some point, so we do need to have it, but hopefully by the time that we've coded some stuff, it might be ready, or we could just try and go without Docker until it's ready. We can work around it. I'm just going to take my hat off, it's a bit itchy. Hat's a little bit itchy. I bought some stuff today. I bought some candy canes. So for my drone business, I did a little bit of a competition to get some more followers and stuff. Oh, these look good. Whatever these are. Oh, breaking the whole office. So I bought a box of these as well. These are great. Oh, look at these. Maltesers chocolates. Yum. Good. Very good. I haven't had any dinner yet, so sorry if I have to eat on stream. So really healthy diet. Okay, so let's try this again, shall we? Back to praying. Ooh, yes, okay. Ask me for my password. There we go. Docker on M1. Oh yeah. Unfortunately, we can't actually test this yet because we haven't got anything to test it on. So, but we're just going to leave it there for now. Okay, so you see at the top, you see these like shipping containers on the icon. Oh, I don't need a tutorial. I don't need a tutorial. I'm a professional. Should we try running this to see if it works? I think we should. Helpful. Try again. Ah, so when I copied this, it had like a break, a line break, and it treated that as the image name, so it didn't work. Okay, so we have this, and is it running? Yes, it is. So now if I open up my browser and go to localhost port 80, there we go, look at that. Docker is running on M1. That's what we're talking about. That's really cool. I'm really, really happy because talking about Docker on M1 chip. Now it's an ARM processor, and Docker have been really slow about getting Docker onto ARM chips, and it's because there's no market for it. So if anyone's into Raspberry Pis, you can't install Docker very easily on a Raspberry Pi. You have to use like third-party plugins on GitHub and applications to install it on an ARM chip. So if I come here and go to Docker on Raspberry Pi, oh, okay. I'm pretty sure it's not officially supported by Docker though. So you can install it on a Pi, but it's not officially supported. Yes, you like Moby. I might be wrong, to be honest, because I haven't really looked into it massively. The components and tools in the web project. Initially, the open source components of Docker and the community are built on Docker project. New projects can be added if they fit within the community goals. Docker is committed to using Moby as the upstream for Docker product. However, other projects also encourage to use Moby as upstream and to reuse the components in diverse ways. And all these users will be treated in the same way. Some obtains community welcome. So essentially, Docker hasn't really properly supported it, but they do endorse this project. But now that the M1 chips have come out and all of the Apple developers are moving over to M1, Docker have now been given a fire up the arse to go and support it natively. So that's what this preview is all about. So I'm really looking forward to seeing where this takes ARM, Docker on ARM processors, because it means you can install Docker on a Raspberry Pi. So imagine like a little Raspberry Pi, you install Docker on it, you go and put it somewhere like, I don't know, for like a CCTV camera or something, and you can run like everything on Docker, like a web API on Docker. It's awesome. I can't wait for it. It's going to be cool. Okay, so back to the drawing board. So we now have Docker. So next things we've got to do, let's do Visual Studio Code. Let's get that out of the way. That's a really quick one. Okay, so all I've done was just Google Visual Studio Code, and I'm going to install it for Mac. Really simple. Everything's going surprisingly well on this stream, actually. We had a couple of hiccups with the music and stuff, but overall it's doing okay. And everything seems to be working alright, at least on Rosetta and stuff. So I just installed Visual Studio Code, dragged it over into Applications folder, and now we're just running it just to see if it actually works. Cool, works. So we go to open folder, open, projects, JDTV-system, and now we have an editor worthy of editing in. Hello, there we go. Oh. There we go. So we have our editor. That was really easy. Probably the easiest one yet. So we've got our Visual Studio Code. Oh, extras. I'm just going to add Brave into extras because we did. Oh. Brave, there we go. Because we did do that as an extra. Oh god, I can't type when it's not on the flat on the surface. Okay. So next thing we're going to do is Xcode and Android Studios. I've really not been looking forward to these two, to be perfectly honest. Xcode install. Do I have to install it from the Apple Store? Really? Guess we do. So we're going to install both of these at the same time. So we'll install Xcode here. Wait for that to do its thing. So while it's doing that, we'll go to Android Studio install. You know, it's a real shame that Apple don't make things more open, because like Android Studio, you don't need to log in or anything, you just go to a website and you just download it. And with Apple, you have to like log into your Apple account, you've got to go to the App Store, you can only open it on Mac. I mean, I know it's a Mac product and it's a Mac development tool, but come on. Okay, so this is installing. I'm gonna have another one of these chocolate things. I know I shouldn't, but they're really good. And I'm really hungry. I'm gonna get some dinner soon because I'm starving, absolutely starving. But I was actually going to delay today's stream, but I already delayed it twice. I couldn't delay it a third time. Xcode's taking a really long time. Is it like crashed or something? I don't know. Okay, let's install Studio. So easy. It's funny because Android Studio is easier to install on a Mac than Xcode is, even though Xcode is native to Apple. I really need a haircut. I've been trying to get one for ages, but because of lockdown and like tier 2 or whatever it is, I just haven't had the time. I've had booked one in for Saturday, so hopefully I'll get a haircut soon. Okay, so Android Studio is now done and installed. Nice. Works on M1 as well. Be very interesting to see if this actually deploys Android on M1. That would be very interesting. We're not going to send anything to Google, although they probably track us anyway. But standard, dark, always dark theme. Don't like light themes at all. I've got a black T-shirt with a white logo. That's how committed I am to dark themes. Is there anything else we can do while we're waiting? Should we make an Azure DevOps account while we're waiting for these two things? It's all about multitasking because Xcode's taking forever and Android Studio is going to take forever as well. So let's go ahead and install Azure DevOps. No, that's the wrong link. So it's azure.microsoft.com for anyone watching. Start for free with GitHub. I'm assuming this is just login with GitHub. Brad plus demo at 128 bits, okay. And I think Hockey App is also a product. Looks like you already have an account with us. Oh, this is really annoying. It's trying to make me use my Brad without the plus sign. I don't understand how is that possible, because it's a brand new email address. Brad plus demo 128 bits to code UK. See, that's brand new. I literally just made this today. There's no way that exists. Looks like you already have an account with us, so follow your message to GitHub. Choose one. But I don't. Oh, I'm just going to use this one. It's annoying, but what can I do? I don't think I've got anything on there majorly anyway. I haven't got any dodgy stuff on there. Not dodgy stuff, but yeah, I've just got a couple of work things on there. I'll create a new organisation. So 128 bits demo, UK South. Your CPU does not support VTX. Unfortunately, it does not have hardware accelerated virtualization. Here are some options. God. Use a physical device for testing. Is this just for like installing the Android emulator thing? Because I don't really care about that, because I can just use my normal Android device. Yeah, I don't care about that really. Okay, so we've got Android Studio. We're still waiting on Xcode. It's about 25% done, which means we'll probably be done downloading that by tomorrow lunchtime. Create a project, JDTV-system, and we're going to make it private. Repos. We don't want to use this for Git stuff. So yeah, so we're not actually using DevOps for the Git stuff, we're just using it for the pipelines. Now, pipelines are exactly the same as Jenkins, it's just a bit nicer. We can create artifacts as well, so when we eventually get this working automatically, we can build our code in Android or Xcode and then produce an artifact, either a .ipa file for Apple, or we can generate a .pka or PAK file, APK for Android. We can produce those artifacts and then we can then upload them to Hockey App. But what I want to do is I want to create another pipeline that once the first pipeline's done and we've got the artifact, it then uploads it automatically to Hockey App, and it tells all of our beta users that they have a new install ready to download, which I think would be really nice, because then we can literally just do one-click deploy. Like you click one click, you go deploy, and it just goes done. Don't even need to think about it. Easy. So yeah, it should be pretty nice. So we've installed DevOps. Let's go back to our board. So we've got DevOps and got Android Studio. We're still waiting for Xcode. So let's just go ahead and do Hockey App while we're here. Hockey App. That was a that was a long update ago. Oh, it's not called Hockey App anymore. It's called Visual Studio App Center. Ah. Okay. That's really nice. So we can actually build apps for iOS and Android, Windows apps, and iOS apps. I wonder if this supports sorry, not iPad, like TV stuff. I'm assuming it does actually. Yeah, like Mac OS and tvOS. That's cool. So let's get started and create an account. Just going to use my Microsoft email address because it looks like Microsoft doesn't like me creating new ones. Aha. Oh, so I've already used this before. Motorstats, that's a really old project of mine. It's still going on, but I've just kind of put it on hiatus at the minute. Check the App Store. Still taking forever. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the stream because Xcode's going to take forever. I'm just going to let it go for an hour or so. I'm not going to bother wasting your time. So I think we made some really good progress today. We installed iTerm, we installed G Shell, we done our GitHub keys, we installed Brew. Had a couple of problems with Brew because it doesn't support the ARM architecture, so we used Rosetta in order to install that. Same with Docker. So with Docker, it didn't support the new M1 chip, but then we managed to find a preview version, so we managed to install that, which is quite cool. So we'll see how that progresses in the future. We got our editor installed, Visual Studio Code. We installed Node and npm via MVM, which went pretty smoothly, especially after I think we done Brew first. So we already had the Rosetta stuff, which is probably why the MVM worked. We might have had the Rosetta problem with MVM if we didn't do Rosetta. But yeah, that worked okay. We installed Brave because I've got fed up with Safari, to be perfectly honest. I'll probably never use Safari again, not unless I'm testing something to do specifically with Safari, or also if I'm developing on an Apple device, I can open the inspector for Cordova web browsers using Safari, which is quite nice. We also set up our Azure DevOps account. Had a few problems setting up a brand new account with the plus symbol on Gmail aliases, but at least we managed to get. I literally just used my normal account and created a new project. So a bit annoying. I couldn't use a completely separate account for this, but you know, it is what it is. We also installed Android Studio. Haven't had a chance to test it yet, but we won't actually be able to test it until we have our project all set up and we have something that we can actually just run. I'm hoping that probably on session 2 or 3 we'll be able to do something like that. If not session 4 at the latest. So we'll be able to test to make sure that works. Same goes for Xcode. So we're currently installing Xcode, but it's taken a while, so we're not going to bother waiting for that. Well, hopefully it will just work next time we start up a stream. And then we also installed Hockey Out, which went smoothly as hell. So Hockey Out's all installed. So yeah, I think we made some really good progress today. We've been streaming for quite a while. I don't know how long exactly, but because my live stream has restarted itself somehow. But yeah, I think we've made good progress today. So I'd like to thank you for watching, and we'll catch you next time. What we'll be doing next time. So let's go to our preview. Okay, so tooling, we can tick that off now. So in session 2, we'll be setting up the project. When I say setting up the project, we'll be creating our folder structure, creating some basic Docker files, adding like git ignores, choosing what frameworks that we want to use. I've already got some in mind, so we'll talk about that next stream. So yeah, thanks for watching. We'll be back tomorrow, if not Friday, with another stream. So session 2 will be either Thursday or Friday at 6 PM. So yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Enjoy. If I don't see you before then and I decide to delay the stream, enjoy your weekend. So see you later.